I thought this was a really funny and interesting take, and with my wife's permission, I'll share it with you. My wife hates Planeswalkers because of their flavor. Planeswalkers enter the battlefield with a specific amount of loyalty. They have abilities that either add or subtract loyalty counters to give you some kind of benefit. My wife's take on this when I explained it to her was that the abilities that subtract loyalty are things that Planeswalkers hate doing. Like, it's a favor, but you're going to owe them one, especially if ultimating them sends them to the graveyard. So Ajani loves putting +1/+1 counters on target creatures, but if you want him to generate a whole bunch of cats, he hates that. It's his least favorite thing in the world. Angrath, he would love to deal damage to people, to a whole bunch of creatures. 1 damage, easy peasy. But if you're going to ask him to go and kill all of those people instead of just using his Flame Whip, it's going to cost 11 loyalty. It's a really big ask. Shandra, and this is templated on a lot of Shandra cards, so apparently it is just a big thing that she'll do no questions asked for you. It's a solid that she's always going to do for you. She will exile the top card of your library and allow you to play it that turn. Sometimes she throws in a little extra damage there, but you guys are friends. But asking her to do it more than once or to recur anything from your graveyard, that's a bigger ask. She doesn't like that as much, and if you ask her to do it, it's a favor that just might kill her. Dakin, he's going to surveil, but if you want artifacts back from your graveyard, he's not going to like you too much. Maybe you won't be friends at the end of the game. Garrick, and we've seen this on some other Garricks. Sometimes they'll generate a beast. This one has it for a -2, but sometimes it's their +1. But a 3/3 stat block on additional on one creature or generating one isn't too bad. But if you want him to spread that around to a full board or to give it, generate you some more creatures other than that kind of one-off favor, he's not going to like it. Jace, for free, he'll just look at people's libraries. He'll draw you cards. No biggie. But once you actually, and this is kind of funny from a lore perspective, once you ask him to start messing around with other people's minds too much, he starts to feel bad about it. Jace is really big into hating himself for using his powers, so this is perfect from a flavor perspective. Liliana, most of the Lilianas discard for their +1s. That's what she loves to see. She loves helping things get into the graveyard that she can work with later. But if you want to get things out of your own graveyard en masse, she's kind of like, ugh, can we schedule this next week? Maybe not now. If you really need it, fine, I'll do it. I guess she just wants to control the undead hordes for herself, and passing the reins off to you as a player just doesn't feel right to her. But she has the ability. You're able to ask it of her. Bolis, he's always down to steal permanents, make people sacrifice things, discard cards, lose life, whatever. Apparently it's a little bit harder for him to destroy individual target creatures, but he'll do it. But if you want to draw a whole bunch of cards, it's going to be a big ask. If you're hanging out with this guy and you want to draw cards, I'd play something else, something like Rhystic Study that would force other people to pay that tax instead of taxing your friendship with this awesome dragon. Saurin, he loves giving lifelink. He loves making bats, other things like that. He's got a -2 here on this one, but some of his other cards will generate bats or deal 2 damage. That's pretty normal. Most of his emblems and other big abilities that really hose people, I guess maybe he just doesn't like fighting all that much. If he does something that really hurts one of the other planeswalkers, maybe they won't like him and he won't be able to get to become friends with them later on. They'll remember what he did to them in this battle, and I guess maybe that's how all the Planeswalkers are. They jump around the planes. They really just want to be friends. They want to have connection. Even Bolis trying to rule everyone. He's really just starved for friendship. And that's why all the Planeswalkers' ultimate abilities are negative, and it just really hurts them to think about all of those missed opportunities. Teferi, pretty much every printed version of Teferi knows what he has done. Whether it's, your plus or minus abilities, I think it makes sense that Teferi would know that his minus abilities, like in Teferi Time Raveler, where he bounces things, they just know that these abilities will be perceived negatively. Anyways, if you have any other interesting flavor takes on Planeswalkers themselves, favorite Planeswalkers, or any other cards where when you first learned the mechanics for it, it threw you a little bit for a loop, please let me know in the comments below.